You know what the funniest thing is? You have to go to Google and type POCO India website. The first search result is Mammy POCO diapers. It's going to take some while for the POCO website to be ranked number one. Hi, I'm Ankit Vingurlekar and this is a first look at Xiaomi's brand new sub-brands POCO's brand new POCO phone F1. That sounds like a Formula 1 race car, and Xiaomi will most definitely hope that the sales chart definitely rises like a Formula 1 race car. Now let's understand this phone because there is so much of hype around this, and rightly so. See, Xiaomi is trying to disrupt a space that is known as the mid-premium budget flagship phone. It's a lot of words put together, but break that down. Flagship phone क्या होता है? जिसमें flagship hardware होता है. Now the heart of the entire smartphone experience is the smartphone processor, the SoC, the chipset. Okay. Now the reigning champion in that is Qualcomm's Snapdragon 845 chipset. A chipset that powers most of the flagship phones in 2018. That's generally how the trend is. Each year, one flagship chipset is launched by Qualcomm, and all the phone makers out there, when they want to make a flagship phone, they simply take that chipset. So Samsung uses it in the Galaxy S9, S9 Plus, and the recently released Note 9. OnePlus uses it in the extremely popular OnePlus 6. Asus uses it in their Zenfone 5Z, and literally any flagship phone worth their salt uses the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset. Now typically, flagship phones are expensive. 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 70, 80, 90,000, there's really no upper limit to it. Hey, Apple iPhones, they don't use Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, but hey, Apple iPhones that have their own chipset, they cost more than 1 lakh rupees. So generally, flagship phone matlab औकात, matlab status, matlab top of the line hardware. Now Xiaomi wanted to challenge exactly this notion. Remember, this is exactly the notion that OnePlus wanted to challenge when they launched the first ever OnePlus One at a crazy affordable price. Now of course, OnePlus Harvard chala gaya hai and graduate hoke wapas aa gaya hai, so they are also charging premium charges for their affordable phones, which are about 35,000 rupees. So what did Xiaomi do? Launch a whole new sub-brand, call it POCO, because it sounds cute, it's very easy to remember. There's a great mental and a verbal recall to the name POCO, and jab Oppo, Vivo, POCO ऐसे नाम होते हैं market में, you know, it's just easier for brand recall, okay? So they got a brand new sub-brand called POCO and decided that let's focus on performance, okay? They kept saying this again and again that, oh my god, we don't want to be the jack of all, master of none, but we really just want to focus on speed and real world performance, which is why they then chose to go with the best chipset available in the market, which is Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, which is all right, but they decided to launch it at a completely mind-boggling price of 20,999, which means with the introductory price of 1,000 rupees off, this is the world's first and only flagship chipset Snapdragon 845 smartphone under 20,000 rupees, and that is a very big deal, and that basically puts the POCO F1 already in history books as doing something absolutely unimaginable and unbelievable so far, okay? Along with that, it packs in a decent pack of hardware. Now when you've got the world's best engine, so to say, it really doesn't matter a lot what kind of a chassis and what kind of a body and design you have around that particular amazing engine. But it still manages a respectable stack up of hardware. A 6.18-inch non-AMOLED display. The glass that protects the display is actually third generation of Corning's Gorilla Glass. We are already on Gorilla Glass 6. That's how they save money. They're very smart. The notch is big and broad and deep. It's not the most good-looking notch, but hey, it doesn't really matter because it packs in an infrared sensor that is able to map your face and give you secure-ish face unlock. It also packs in mind-boggling amount of storage. There's 6GB and 8GB of RAM on offer. There's 64GB, 128GB and 256GB of storage on offer. Add to this a micro SD card slot and you can effectively get 256 plus 256GB in your smartphone that costs less than 30,000 rupees. And that really is Xiaomi's big play here, to get those mind-boggling hardware numbers on a budget-like device, okay? In terms of design, this phone is not going to win any beauty pageants. It is what I like to call hotel decent. It's decent to look at, okay? The display is not jumping out with bright pop colors like OnePlus 6's Super AMOLED display or any of Samsung Galaxy flagship displays. So there are places where you realize that there is cost cutting, but there are also a lot of thoughtful touches. For example, there is a headphone jack. Thank God, Xiaomi, for keeping that, okay? There's Qualcomm's Quick Charge 3.0. There's a massive 4,000 milliamp hour battery, because two of the biggest complaints that most people have with their phones is, phone is running slow and I'm running out of battery, okay? They've managed to tick mark both of these on paper. We yet have to review this in real world conditions to see how it behaves. So in terms of camera, there is a 12 plus 5 megapixel rear camera assembly, this nice vertical setup that we've seen on Apple iPhone 10 and everybody in the world copy it. And there's a respectable 20 megapixel front facing camera. The rear camera also gets AI chops because it's the same camera unit from Xiaomi's Mi Mix 2S and Xiaomi's Mi 8, which are the other flagship phones that are sold elsewhere in the world. On paper, cameras sound good. In reality, we've taken some broad daylight pictures. They look absolutely spectacular for the budget that this phone belongs to. Okay, now a lot of people are saying, oh my God, Xiaomi finally has a phone that's going to challenge OnePlus 6. And I think they are not reading this situation really well. Because how can a 20,000 phone really compete with a 34,000 rupee phone? That's not even the attempt over here. I think the attempt is to really disrupt what we know as a mid-premium flagship phone. And with that price and that kind of hardware, POCO phone already seems to have achieved that. And I'm pretty sure that the sales charts will corroborate that. OnePlus 6 is for a different kind of a customer. I use a OnePlus 6 as my daily driver, and I have the option of using an iPhone 10 or a Google Pixel 2 XL or a Galaxy Note 9 as my daily driver. I think the combination of a dual SIM, good display, great sound, very good camera, and overall premium looking design in that 35 to 40,000 price range has made a person like me make my OnePlus 6 my daily driver. That person is not the same customer who's going to be in the market looking for a 20,000 rupee phone. It might be someone who's in the market for a 15,000 rupee Redmi Note 5 Pro. वो अब सोचेगा कि भाई, why should I spend 15,000-16,000 rupees when I can spend another 4,000-5,000 rupees and get the world's cheapest Snapdragon 845 chipset wala phone. So a lot of questions are going to be asked around the POCO phone. How is it versus the OnePlus 6? How is it versus Vivo, Oppo, Asus, Honor, all these phones, Nokia? And we are going to hopefully answer all these questions in days to come. But to begin with, it looks like a whole new chapter is going to be, unveiled in India's smartphone journey. I keep saying this again and again, there has never been a better time to be a smartphone customer in a country like India. Also, it shows how important Indian market and Indian customers are for Xiaomi, because the POCO Phone F1, believe it or not, has only released in India so far. Nowhere else in the world. No idea when it's going to go to America. No idea when it's going to go to the UK, if at all. India and India alone is the country where POCO Phone F1 is going to be sold. 29th of August, 12 PM is their first flash sale on Flipkart and on me.com. You can see all the prices for all the variants right here. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Do you think that you're going to go loco over POCO? It's a line that all of us have been saying here in the newsroom since it has launched. Or do you think you're going to wait it out and be wise and say, hey, I'm not really an early adopter. I want to see what Tech2's review of the POCO Phone F1 is going to be like, and I want to see some real-world customer feedback from people. The good thing is the POCO sub-brand comes with immense pedigree. Xiaomi's trusted and respectable made-in-India production lineup, and of course, their service center and distribution network. all of this is definitely going to be a big plus point for POCO brand, but we really have to wait and watch how this chapter is going to unfold. The one good thing is Xiaomi is on a front foot and every other phone maker is now on a back foot. If you are someone who understands or follows cricket, then you will appreciate this analogy a lot more. Let us know in the comments section what do you think of this video, and in case you guys haven't already, please subscribe to Tech2's YouTube channel. We've got a PUBG gaming review of the POCO phone, we've got a camera sample comparison coming of the POCO phone, and of course our entire comprehensive review coming up as well.